Back on Radio Row from Super Bowl 52. Now joining us on the DK Live set, we have IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the world, Caleb Truax. What's going on, dude?
Good to be here.
Thanks for joining us. You got the belt.
Yeah, man, I had to bring it with.
And as you told us before we came on, that they send you this in the mail. You don't just get free from the ring. I didn't know that.
Neither did I. I was kind of shocked and kind of mad when they tried to take it away from me in the ring. I said, "This is mine, man. I just won it."
So is it weird? Like, let's say your opponent, you beat him. You have to give him the belt back when he leaves. Is it weird just to have the belt? Like, did you have to give it to a manager? Or is it like he take it out with him? You're like, well, this is weird.
So I had won 3 belts prior, and they were all vacant belts. So whoever won that night got to take it with him. So that's how I thought it worked, And the IBF coordinator was in the ring, and he's the one that oversees the fight. And I'm taking pictures with the belt afterwards. He handed it to me, and then he comes up and tries to grab it. Like, all right, we got to give it back to him. I said, "This is mine, man. I just won. What are you talking about?" And they mailed it out a couple weeks later. So
everyone says, I get the write-up. Everyone's coming through. They're calling this an upset win. So when you go into the fight, do you feel like you're an underdog, or you're just like, I'm going to win this? Don't worry about it.
I mean, it's obviously there's odds makers and all that stuff.
Are you aware of that stuff going in? Like, do people
yeah,
tell you?
like my buddies were sending me clips, like the bet slips that they got, the odds on me, and I wish I would have bet on myself. I would have known some of the money that was. I think it was 35 to 1 that somebody got that I know,
serious?
and 41 to 1. It was like almost the same as Buster Douglas versus Tyson, and they were saying it was one of the biggest upsets in British boxing history. But it doesn't feel like an upset to me. I knew I was going to beat him and was confident, and like I said, I wish I would have put some money on myself.
So you're going around Radio Row doing all this.
Yeah,
you're a Minnesota guy.
Mm-hmm.
You bummed the Vikings aren't here?
I'm a Steelers fan. I'm bummed the Steelers aren't here. I wish the Vikings would have been playing the Steelers, but after the Steelers were out, I was hoping the Vikings made it.
So you can just hate on the Patriots then either way.
I'll probably hate it.
Ruining it for you.
I was hating on Jacksonville. I did an interview with Jacksonville press over there, and I didn't want to do it at first because they beat my Steelers. But
okay, so I wanted to ask you now. I grew up loving the sport, loving boxing. I watched it when I was young. I have a passion for it, and I'm concerned that, particularly with the advent and this growth of mixed martial arts, that boxing is sort of in a decline. I'm concerned about that. And I know you're a thoughtful guy. You have a degree in poli-sci. I have a degree in poli-sci, so I'm sympathetic. Have you thought about this? What sort of things should the boxing community be getting into, or should be doing to sort of rejuvenate or resuscitate some of the popularity of the sport?
So that's kind of like a myth, man. It's boxing's not like you hear boxing's dead all the time or dying. And last year, 2017, was a fantastic year for boxing. Had some huge fights. The Mayweather-McGregor fight was the highest or second highest pay-per-view buys ever for a fight. Although it's kind of a sideshow, but still counts.
Well,
no, we had some great fights last year. 2018 shaping up to be fantastic for the heavyweight division, which is really important for casual fans. Right now we have Deontay Wilder here from the States and Anthony Joshua from London. Joshua's fighting Joseph Parker, who's another champion from New Zealand. Wilder's fighting Luis Ortiz, and those are like the 4 best fighters in the heavyweight division. They're all fighting each other, kind of working their way towards a real unification of the 2 best fighters. And it's alive and well, man. Like, they just sold 70,000 seats in 2 days for the Anthony Joshua fight over in Wales.
So tell me about the Minnesota boxing scene. When people think about the Midwest, they think about Michigan when it comes to boxing.
Or
Pennsylvania. They don't think about Minnesota. So you're a Minnesotan. Tell me about the boxing experience here.
So right now the scene it's small. It's a real small boxing community. We have knowledgeable fans, great fans that come out and support. We get pretty good numbers at our shows here. Grand Casino Hinckley, they do a lot of shows. My promoter, Seconds Out, Tony Gargelko, he does some shows downtown, some shows at some of the casinos around. It's not too alive and thriving right now. Hopefully with my title win, they'll bring some more attention to it and get some more kids in the gyms and get some more fighters out there. But Minnesota has a rich history, man. We've had a lot of good fighters. St. Paul used to be a boxing hub back in the early 1900s and 1920s, 30s, 40s. Had some fantastic champions here, and some of the best fighters of all time came from St. Paul. But right now, it's small. There's a knowledgeable fan base, but it's not Pennsylvania, it's not Las Vegas, it's not California.
So you play football most of your life, I'm guessing.
Yeah, football and baseball. Yeah.
And then you walk on in college, and then you hurt your knee, you can't play anymore, and then you get into boxing later.
Yeah.
Is that the most atypical route? Like, you think like boxing, like you start when you're 12, you go through like gold gloves, all this stuff. So how do you just walk into that?
You know, there's some guys that start late like I did and have some success going to success, but for the most part, like you said, all the top guys and the guys that I fought along the way, they're been in the gym since they're 6 years old and have 200, 300 amateur fights, and I had like 30 amateur fights, and it helped that I was an athlete. I was used to performing in front of people, and I'd been training, working out and stuff through football and baseball my whole life, so that was kind of made the transition easier, but it's been tough, man. I had to work my butt off to get where I'm at today, and I had a steeper learning curve than those guys did because they have way more experience than I have.
Well, they talk about this with like the NFL players now and even basketball players, and sometimes they find that it's better to play some other sports growing up rather than just focus on one thing. So you think like a background in football and baseball, just the training, different training methods and coordination that would go into something like hitting a baseball, for example, would go in to help you with boxing later on?
Yeah, so I think it's a lot with coordination, like just becoming a better athlete, a well-rounded athlete. In baseball, actually, that's one thing that really helped me with boxing because the weight transfers and when you're swinging a bat is similar to throwing a punch, and so that really helped me and allowed me to have a pretty good right hand because it's the same as almost the same as swinging a bat.
How much does it suck to get used to getting hit in the head the first time?
It sucks more to get hit in the body. Getting in the head, get hit in the head is it's kind of like jars you a little bit, but getting hit in the body in the right spot, that hurts, man. That's why I like to punch to the body.
All right, so what's coming up next for you?
Right now we're in talks with a rematch with James De Gale. It sounds like it's going to be in April. They're trying to do it here in Minneapolis. If not in Minneapolis, then it would be in Las Vegas, I believe. But I'm just happy I don't got to go back to the UK. It's a long flight, man.
Well, it's a long flight. Yeah, I mean, people probably aren't rooting for you over there. How awesome would it be to fight in Minneapolis?
Well, it would be great, man. I'd have all my fans and friends and family be able to show up to the fight, and it's great for the economy when you fight here and stuff like that. So I'm a Minnesota guy, but I will say when I went over to the UK, I was expecting the fans to be a little bit more raucous, and they were. They're great boxing fans, but after the fight, they appreciated the effort that I put forward, and were fantastic to me.
All right. Well, thanks for joining the show today, man.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it. Best of luck in the future.
All the best.
Caleb Truax, IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the world here on set. Stay tuned to DK Live. More Pat, more Tim, more guests coming up all day from Super Bowl Radio Row.